Hello, Craig and Tom here from GamingSurvival.com doing a snapshot on Shank 2.
Hey, hey.
Hey, hey, yeah. And the maestro for this snapshot will be Tom, who's going to be playing through Shank 2 for us.
I am the maestro, lest you forget. So yeah, Shank 2.
The maestro of pain.
It is the sequel to Shank 1.
Wow. Well, wouldn't it just be Shank then?
Correct. The 1 is in parentheses.
Yes.
It's understood. So yeah, it's not a lot of surprises coming from Shank to Shank 2. It's very much the same game, as in it's a really awesome action sort of brawler. Biggest changes, as I mentioned in the review, as you can see down here, you have the campaign mode. That's pretty standard. It's a little bit shorter than the first game, but survival mode, that is the big new addition to this game. The first game had a co-op campaign, which was cool in theory, but super boring, to be honest. Survival mode, we'll take a look at that later, but it's super cool, and it adds a lot of replayability to an otherwise pretty linear game. The other stuff, achievements, yay, that's pretty bog standard for an XBLA game. See that? Medals, this is a new addition to this as well. It's sort of an in-game achievement sort of system. So similar to how Gears or even Halo has different sort of sub-goals for you to achieve, it'll keep track of them in here, and these will unlock new costumes, achievements, things like that. So
yeah, so it looks like they're just in their like a graduated kind. They keep track through your entire gameplay and all the multiple ones, like 100 machete counter kills and things like that. So is this how many times have you played? I see you've gotten a couple of them, but yeah, obviously there's still several that you haven't got yet. How many times did you beat the campaign, or how many survival mode matches did you play to give an understanding of how easily they're going to be able to obtain these?
So I beat the campaign on normal, and I'm almost done with it on hard. I'm on the very last level. So, and played a decent amount of survival, maybe 7 or 8 matches total. So I mean, not a ton, but you can get these pretty quickly.
I don't know, the one at the very bottom right, got like a 0.
Fire trap kills? I don't know what that is. I don't know what a fire trap
kills. You got a 0 and you need, what, 30 of them?
It's a survival match. So I think it's only on a certain map where there's a fire trap. So each survival map has different traps on them. So I guess I didn't play that one.
The turret hurler.
Yeah, I've never done
left,
that.
0, 1.
Yeah, so a lot of these...
Well, all you have to do is once.
Well, you gotta be able to buy a turret, man. Whatever.
Ugh.
I'll get it. Don't you worry.
I expect a screenshot of all of those gold. I don't want any blacked out, sir.
Fine. I will get 100% achievements in this game. As you can see, I'm pretty well on my way. And also, there's 20 achievements in this game, which is ridiculous. It's usually there's 12, but for some reason there's 20. It still adds up. Still adds up to 200. So
showing your wall of shame, you got less than half of it.
Well,
what is that?
Screw you. It's hard.
Hey, I just expect a lot from you, sir.
I guess, yeah. All right, so enough blabbing. Let's kind of see what's going on here. So you can either pick normal or screamingly difficult. So I like that little effect there.
I like how he's like smiling, maybe a little snarling to, oh my god.
You like that?
It looks like he's getting choked. There's a chain around his neck too.
He wears a chain. I don't know.
But it looked like it was choking him. Maybe he shouldn't be lurching forward so hard.
Wearing a chain is usually not like a good idea in combat, but it looks cool, right? So it gives him a little bit of flair.
Yeah, in combat, you can get tackled from said chain very easily.
Yet it never comes up. Oh,
never.
Different from Shank 1 to this, you can't choose all your weapons freely. You have to pick a loadout. You can hit pause and change them in there as well, but you can't just go from machetes to chainsaw to sledgehammer like real quickly like you could in the first. I'm not really sure why they changed that. I'm guessing maybe it was a balance reason. I don't know.
I love that. That was one of my favorite parts of the game, was just going balls crazy with all of that stuff.
Right. So for whatever reason, they relegated it to loadouts. But
well, for me, it kind of worked out nicely for the first gameplay, was because each enemy kind of required you to pick the proper weapon in order to effectively take them down without taking any damage.
Yeah.
So sometimes it was in some situations it was good to use the sledgehammer, and then immediately following, the machetes would have been better.
I'll be honest, in Shank 1, the best thing to do is just go shotgun and either machetes or chainsaw. Like that was
Chainsaw is cool though.
Chainsaw. It's always pretty solid. And they, I don't think they had these damage bonuses in the first game, but they list all their the weapon properties. You know, speed, damage, knockback, as well as each one. They kind of list their situational usefulness. So Chainsaw works on large and fat enemies, and Sledgehammer works really well on shielded and large enemies. Personally, I like the Sledgehammer because you run into a lot of big dudes in this, and this is the only weapon that can juggle them when they're stuck on the ground. So extremely useful. So
it seems like they're just showing you the damage and speed, knockback, and all that stuff, but it was all there in the first game. It just really didn't. Show it. It didn't show it to you.
You didn't know offhand, like, oh, I should use katanas for this or that. You know, you just sort of figured it out. But yeah, this one lays it out to you pretty heavily. New to this
don't want to trick you.
Yeah, new to this is throwing knives. That's actually what you start with. You don't even start with a gun. You start throwing knives, and you can charge them. So you can hold B, you can charge them, and then it'll do a bit more damage and knockdown. So
just like in real life.
Yep, you just hold it down.
Hold it back
you
long.
Charge.
Hold it back far enough.
Dragon Ball Z style. You just charge it up, and then you toss it. That's how it works. So
it goes faster that way.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit of burning, little effect around it too. So throwing knives, I don't really like them. A little too slow. Pistols, they have returned. You know, good for just kind of keeping enemies away. Again, not my bag. Shotgun is way too fucking good in this game. I'll be honest. It was really powerful.
Unbalanced.
Yeah, it was really powerful in Shank 1. I think it was a bit better in there, but it's still really good in this. And
I got damage and stun all the way
yeah,
up.
exactly. Like, range is really not an issue. Like, you're going to be just swarmed with enemies anyway, so it's not really a big deal. So shotgun, that's the go-to. New to this is, I think you only had grenades in the first game, but this one you have mines or Molotov cocktails. Either one of them are good choices. I don't really prefer one or the other. Mines are extremely, I think, the most fun to use. I'm trying to get my burn kills up, so I'll stick with Molotovs for now. And like I mentioned, when you complete those in-game achievements, you unlock different costumes. So I don't have all of them yet, but you can pick Classic Shank, i.e. no chains. This is how he looks, if you recall, and no red. He looks a little less sexy, I'll agree.
He looks like he's got a giant hand and a small head.
Yeah.
It's just by the focus of the camera, but it just looks like his head is tiny. Or his head is huge compared to the rest of him.
His head is huge. He's got a huge jaw.
He's got a giant noggin.
And then you get the Defender. He's the thing is, like, costumes have different stats in survival mode, but in here they don't. They're just purely cosmetic. So Defender. I also have Rex, and recently got him, Cesar, the boss from the first game. So purely cosmetic stuff. Won't do anything in campaign. It just looks cooler.
Gotcha.
So let's go with Rex. He's easy to see. Begin. So when you look at this screen, you immediately freak out because you're like, oh my god, look at all these commands. Every button does something. So try not to freak out. First time you play, it'll come to you. Ow.
They want to get good use of every button on there.
Yeah, and if you notice, the roll has now been assigned to the right stick, which is very helpful. Which leaves pounce on the trigger instead of on a bumper. And there's cinemas and whatnot. And yeah, remember when I was talking about earlier on one of our shows, they introduce characters and they don't tell you who they are. So here you go. Here's a character here, Elena. No, Elena's another one. I forget her name. You don't know who she is until
Chick with tiny waist. Got it.
Yeah, she's a comical-looking woman. You know, tiny waist, big hips, that sort of thing. Anyway, you don't know. They kind of announce her like you know who she is, but you can find unlockables in the game, and then you can find out who everyone is. But in the game, you're just kind of left in a little mystery. All right, so let's get to it. Let's have a little fun here. So basic attack, you can with your shanks. That's your quick sort of get in move. Very good for just extending or starting combos. You can use them to juggle people in the air, all that good stuff. Not very different from the first game in that regard. They seem a little faster in this game, but maybe it's just me.
I don't know about you, but every bar I go to, everybody either has a baseball bat or a machete too.
Usually.
I don't know how that works out, but that's really it is. And the fact is, and there's never a bartender either.
Oh, you know what? There's a guy here, but you can talk to him after the first time, but he gives you like a gun, but yeah, whatever. We're done with that.
The bartender gives you a gun. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, there he is. And new to this game, enemies do drop weapons, so you can pick them up and use them from time to time. They're not like a replacement for your heavy weapon, but they do have specific effects from time to time.
Is it worthwhile to pick him up, or
It depends.
does it really make a difference?
It really depends. I'll be honest.
Oh, poor guy.
Whoops. Keep my buttons confused. I'm trying not to. The thing is, there's you see that propane tank, right? Yeah. So that just destroyed me because normally they give you a pistol there, but I don't have a pistol. I have a shotgun, so I can't. It's really hard to set that off because I do like no damage. Oh, burn that guy to death. Oh, yeah. So as you can see, I'm pretty hurt. I'll show you a counter here. Whoop. Assuming I can get close to him. Oh, looks good. And also, there's an example of the many unlockables scattered throughout the game. There are 24, and I'm missing one of them. So, and that was out without cheating or looking very hard. So, they're not too hard to find, but they're out there.
In a side-scrolling game like this, where they really don't have too many levels, they can only hide them in so many places. Underneath staircases, behind something that's breakable.
Yeah, like this game doesn't have branching paths or anything, you know. I'll say that much.
I mean, the game doesn't look tremendously different from the first game.
No, it doesn't.
It looks like maybe the draw distance is a little bit better from what I remember. Like some of the background stuff looks a little bit cleaner, but other than that, it looks
art style very much the same.
Not saying that's a bad thing.
No, absolutely, because the game is gorgeous.
It looked great.
One of the biggest differences is just the variety in the locales. There's a lot less brown in this game. Granted, right now it's still kind of brown, but even just all the fire and everything, like, man, like the first game did not like have much of that at all. So, and you go to other various more exotic locales, but when you start off, it's pretty familiar looking.
Yeah.
You know,
we'll look at one of those later.
Sort of a desperado type locales. And alcohol, as always, is your power-up or health recharge. Can't change that. I always thought that was good.
Let's get some tequila.
You know what I just found out? As I was reading through those bios that you unlock, Shank is not his real name. It's like Robert something. I thought his name was actually Shank, but it is just a nickname.
Yes, his mom and dad named him Shank.
Well, you know, I thought it wouldn't be so out of place in this.
I like how you untied the hostages and just like left them to go into a fiery
grown-ass
village.
Man. They'll figure it out. You know, they will figure it out.
Yeah, because it worked out so well for them. They were tied up after all.
Yeah, well, I killed the guys. They're free. They're free. One of the best parts about this game, and it's true of Shank 1, but even more so in this, is just combat is super flexible, so you can flow from one thing to another. So if you grab somebody, you're not committed to that grab. You can just roll away from it. You can either keep him pinned down and use your gun to shoot people that are coming at you. Like, for example, well, let's not do that. Hard to do this stuff sometimes, you know, just on command. Talk and do this at the same time. I see what you mean now. It's kind of difficult. Talk, stream, and perform.
Record all at once.
Yeah, actually,
it's good stuff.
Yeah, so you'd have to do a pounce anyway. Kind of hard, empty. Kind of hard to demonstrate, but it's like, oh, look how smooth the combat is. It's you know, you have to play it to feel it, but it's real good. I assure you, it is quite good. So before I humiliate myself and die, let's check out another level real quick. Something a bit more less brown, if you will.
Everybody loves the brown.
Brown? I know you like it. I know you're a fan of the brown. So either Lost in Ruins or Rumble in the Jungle. And there are 8 levels in this game. They're not very long. You can finish the game in about a couple hours. But honestly, I kind of prefer that it's shorter because it lends itself to replayability more. Because I didn't really like playing through Shank 1 again on hard. It was just sort of like, ugh, you know, too much. Too much.
Well, then, and for games like this that they're not, I wouldn't say it's simple, but it's got a very, you know, you can play it so many times and it's, you know, it gets to be the same, and making something too long, it kind of wears out its welcome.
Yeah, you don't like keep unlocking things when you keep playing it. Like your skill, it's really the only thing the only thing that improves is your skill and sort of like what you realize you can do in combat. Like that's really the only progression that you see. So
you become more fluent in your actions.
Right, you have all the weapons, like, you know, again, so you can pick them from the beginning, but, you know,
cutscenes,
little pitfall action. Yeah, I'm skipping the cutscenes.
I know.
They're fun. I mean, they're a lot more.
We're looking pretty brown still.
Yeah, well, they're a lot more violent than the first game. There's a lot more. I don't recall the first game's like cinematics having dismemberments and beheadings and things like that. So if you're a fan of Bloodlust, you know, here you go.
Aren't we all? God.
Yes. So as you can see, this level is. I mean, the fact that you have, you know, precipitation in the air is just something different. I'll say that much.
Some lightning in the background as well.
Yeah, some lightning. It's kind of gray, green. So it's the levels are. I mean, the colors are kind of muted. I mean, no matter what. Oh, look at that. Got myself an achievement there. So.
Heyo.
Yeah. So I'm unlocking things as we play. This is fantastic. Awesome. And yeah, it's the enemy types. There aren't a whole lot. They kind of mix it up with different costumes and everything. There's always like the tiny dudes that toss stuff, or the ones that keep trying to grab you. And there's always different. There's a few types of fat dudes, and then there's just like a handful of you know, normal type guys.
Yeah.
So with different firearms. So I mean, it's enough to keep it interesting, I'd say. And plus the game is short, so I mean, you don't really need to have 400 different enemy types. What's the point? You hear me?
Do the enemies? I don't know. Do they all kind of look the same, like the different breeds, or do they change it up a little bit?
Usually it depends on the level. So this jungle level, you'll see like everyone's like a cannibal type skin. So they're all sort of weird and tribally.
So the levels, they do change it up, so it's not like you see the same bad guy throughout the entire game.
Exactly. So they do at least keep it from something as simple as a palette swap, you know.
There you go. That's a good example. This guy.
And
you wouldn't see that anywhere else.
No, exactly. And yeah, it's palette swaps are pretty common trope in beat 'em ups, but they keep it a little bit more.
Size and stature-wise, they're the same, but they kind of give them a different costume.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Same abilities and everything. It's just they look different. Which is, hey, what are you gonna do? That's enough.
Hasn't he watched any Indiana Jones movies? You can't remove it.
You know what? This
and
game
look at that, it's a big boulder too.
This game actually takes place in 1988. So when did that movie come out? It was before that, I think. But yeah, this game actually takes place in the past. So a little bit of information
like
for
a
you
little
there.
race game.
You wouldn't have thought by playing it, but yes, it takes place in the 80s. I was just a wee lad when this game is taking place. All the strife in Mexico or wherever this is supposed to take place. Some Latin American country. I don't know if they ever say where it takes place, I'll be honest. Yeah.
Poor, what is it, coyotes? Wolves?
They're wolves. Screw them. Screw wolves, man. They're never good.
What have they done for me lately?
Yeah, they tried killing me. That's what they do for you lately.
Apparently. Drink that booze.
So as you can see, the game still has a little bit of traversal to it. It's not nearly as I don't want to say robust, but pervasive as the first game. The first game, yeah, it wasn't bad.
That's a nice little cinematic view.
Yeah, you like that? Like that silhouette sort of thing? I always like that when they showed that really early in the first game, but they kept it.
I'd say the lighting effects are actually pretty good from like this silhouette type lighting, and then there was the lightning and stuff reflected off of the side of the walls of the mountain, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, there's a lot of attention to detail in this game.
Yeah, looks good.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If there's anything you can say about this game, even if you hate it, it looks good. I don't know why you'd hate it though. That's a silly sort of. I think your opinion's just wrong at that point. I don't think you can hate this game. You cannot.
You hate life.
You can hate. Yeah, you maybe not like it like a bunch, but you can't hate it. It's just impossible. Impossible.
I'm sure there's at least a couple.
Yeah, I know. Somehow.
As with everything.
Why is my counter's being rude? Yeah, these big guys, you can keep countering them. It's for some reason. Just because it says counter doesn't mean it's an instant kill.
What are you talking about? Stabbing somebody with a spear doesn't kill them right away.
They just pull it out like no problem. So work that one out.
That's what I do.
Yeah, you're a tough guy.
Not taking me down.
Big tough guy here, eh?
Yeah.
So as you can see, spear is quite useful for shoving dudes.
Some major acrobatics going on in this
level. Exactly. I've gotten a lot, pretty good at this.
I'll say you can tell you've played this game once or twice.
Yeah. It's not hard to do either, No. I'm just familiar with where I'm supposed to go.
Yeah. No, the controls in the game, from what I remember from the first one at least, were very user-friendly, easy to pick up and play.
Absolutely.
And then you can obviously get a whole lot better once you play it more.
You know what's weird is they actually took out any sort of wall running parts I don't know if you remember, there used to be like wall running.
Kind of like Mirror Edge style.
Yeah, you just sort of, you know, superhuman, obviously, in the way that you keep running, but it was there, and I think you were...
Prince of Persia.
Yeah, exactly, and I think
you can't run up walls and bounce off 2 more to
No.
get to a higher objective?
Well, you can run up walls still. They kept that. You know what? I think you in the first game you're also able to scale walls, just like... I may be wrong, but I think you're able to scale walls when you stop running up them, but in here you can't. But maybe I'm just crazy. I don't know. It's hard to remember, because the first game came out, well, like a year and a half ago or something.
Something about that.
It feels like it's well over a year that I played that game. So I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
Now, why don't we check out the survival mode, see if we can get a match
No! Okay.
going on that. Try it out.
You got it, boss. Alright, let's take a look. So survival mode is pretty fun, I will say. I actually played a bit of it today. And most of the people...
Not because I had to, but because I wanted to.
No, I wanted to, yeah, absolutely. So as you can see, there's... you can play any of the characters that your guy you match with has unlocked as well. And all of them have different stats, such as this guy. He's really good if you want to defuse bombs, and we'll get into that. Explain the rules real quick, but everybody has their pluses and minuses. Shank and Karina, they don't have any minuses, but they have a very small buff, just plus 10% health. My favorite is Classic Shank, plus 25% grapple damage and 100% Shank damage. So the Shanks are fucking strong as hell, which is really useful. So let's go in here. So as it says here, you see these little bomber guys? There are 3 supply stations in each stage, and these little guys will make an appearance every once in a while and try to plant bombs on them, a lot like Counter-Strike. So
he looks like a 70s porn star.
Kinda, yeah.
He's got that mustache, and he's got the long
and he's just
sideburns.
And he's just as sexy.
And he looks way too happy to be doing what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, porn star, you know.
There you go. Apparently bombers, porn stars. This goes hand in hand.
So as you can see, they surround you with a very colorful aura, so you don't get too lost in the shuffle here. Every enemy you kill drops gold. Some drop more than others, and you use the gold as currency to buy things in the shop. Right now, everything is still locked. It unlocks as you progress through the waves, and there are 30 waves total.
It's like Super Smash Shank.
Kinda, yeah. And as you can see, there's a switch here which opens at these trap doors, and very useful for when the bosses appear, because it will kill them instantly.
Right there, that was one of those medals.
Yeah.
Doesn't it get to the trapdoors?
Yeah, and there's also one for killing them without using trapdoors or anything, or explosives, just like doing it the old-fashioned way, which I did because I'm freaking awesome like that. Easy, no problem. So yeah, my opponent, not opponent, but ally is he knows what he's doing for the most part. I mean, what can you say? It's still early.
I don't want to give him too much credit yet.
Yeah. Oh, see, there you go.
This was the first 2 waves.
Yeah. So when that guy is going to appear, it does a little cinematic in the corner, warning you, because this is a big deal. When they show up, you want to try to take care of them immediately.
Yeah. You also get it looks like a boatload of gold.
Dude, absolutely. They pay up, so it pays to go after them.
Of which you keep doing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And one thing that the game does not tell you, you see these little birds that are flying through the stage. If you shoot them, they will drop items. I only found that out because one of my allies was doing that, and I was like, whoa, look at that, and sometimes you'll get health. Most of the time it's just gold, but oh my god. He pulled the trapdoor, showing the just sheer carnage that ensues when that happens.
It's like a Mortal Kombat fatality.
Absolutely, just grinds them up. Delicious. And if you get killed or anything like that, let's say like I get dropped in the death trap, it will transport you out, but you'll be sort of down. And it's a lot like Castle Crashers. Your opponent can come up to you and hold the right bumper. The longer he holds it down, the more health you get, and you can get max of like half of your health back. But obviously, you can be interrupted quite easily. So
how long does it take to?
That's like a
couple seconds.
Good few seconds. So it's you got to make sure either it's clear or you make some sort of path for that to go okay. Otherwise, you can just sort of
die in the right spot.
Yeah, or otherwise you can just sort of let it go and get some health back.
And the survival mode is max. How many players? 2?
It's just 2, yeah.
Alright.
So, so boss wave, what's up? Opponent's gonna pull the, oh, he's gonna try to lead him in. There he is, boom. Gross, looks awesome.
That's how he rolls.
So yeah, and as,
It's a whole lot of blood.
yeah,
Man.
yeah.
I saw this. Just
He's a big dude, and he bleeds a lot.
he bleeds a lot.
Yep.
Yeah. I think we can go ahead and say that he's doing pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's holding his own.
Oh,
He
hell.
knows how to use
Look at
them
that.
trapdoors.
Opponent. I keep saying that. Ally killed me because he opened
Just
the
as
trapdoor.
I said
And
that.
see, you see this? How this is just falling apart right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right in front of my very eyes.
I know it's the worst. Oh my god! Oh, I died too. Well, there you go. So that's survival.
And that's survival. Hey, perfect.
We
timing,
did not
sir.
survive. If you go long
You
enough,
are dead.
Yeah. If
Sorry, man.
And it is sort of a competition. At the end, it does show your score. You can have, it'll say, "Oh, winner." So clearly, there's some sort of, meta game going on there. That's not really the objective. That's just more for funsies to see who's doing better at the very end. But yeah, that's survival mode. It keeps going. It didn't look so cool because I died pretty quickly. But if you go long enough, there are zombie waves and stuff as well, so they do mix it up pretty heavily, and it gets real insane real fast. And then you can buy a lot of different weapons and things in the shop. So there's a lot of legs to it. I can't imagine that people will keep playing it months on end, down the line. It's not Call of Duty or anything like that, but it's a pretty darn fun diversion. I'll say that much, and it's a welcome replacement for the co-op campaign. Absolutely. I thought maybe it wouldn't be, but it's way more fun. So.
And it's actually not too bad price wise. It's only 800 Microsoft points, or 800 points or $10, whatever you want to call it.
Cheaper than Shank 1.
Yeah,
Shank
which
1,
is crazy.
Yeah. I thought they were the same price, but no,
Shank 1's more
corrected me.
expensive, so you get the newer version and it has those tweaks and it's $5 cheaper.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Can't go wrong with that.
It is a unequivocally better game, I'll say. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I mean, you can look at all your player stats if you so desire. I didn't show you, but there is actually another character. You can play as Karina in the campaign, and she has different weapons. So she has a katana and a scythe, and an Uzi and a magnum. So that's a whole another set of weapons to mess with, man. So
replay.
Yeah, what's up? She's only in certain levels, but in survival mode you can pick, one of her skins, and you will get those weapons. So totally different way to play. She's a lot faster, as any sort of prototypical female would be. She hits fast and does more combos, but less damage overall. So yeah, that makes sense, right? That's how girls are. Girls are faster, more agile, and they don't do as much damage. That is life.
That's how it rolls.
So yeah, that's pretty much Shank 2 in a nutshell.
Nice. So, do you give it the thumbs up recommendation?
Absolutely. I gave it a 9 out of 10, which is.
You can read the full review over on gamingsurvival.com.
Yes. Give it a look-see. Tell me what you think.
Yeah. Let us know. Sweet. All right. Well, we appreciate you guys watching the Snapshot. We'll see you next time.
Adios.